Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron, hopefully, will be calling us in from Beijing within the next, 15 minutes on the episode.
Something like that.
But today's a big episode, ladies and gentlemen. Sacre bleu. It is an important episode.
Is that French I hear?
Yeah, I think this episode is just simply titled Wenger Out.
Some will say finally.
Yeah, some will.
Some will say thankfully.
I don't know what.
Some are crying.
It's the last episode of the show. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
That's just true. We're not going to have any more content for
done
for next season and the seasons to come, unless he goes to a Everton.
Oh,
I don't see that happening.
Or Everton.
Oh, could you imagine that?
They would
Wenger
freak.
and Wayne Rooney back with Theo.
Or Wenger and Vooney.
Wenger and Rooney.
Oh, we'll probably mention real quickly the player of the year.
Yeah.
Announced, and maybe
the PFA player of the year.
PFA player of the year.
And then the FA Cup also happened, so probably quickly mention that.
PFA player plays into today's Champion League stuff, so I mentioned that real quick. So, but first,
well, if you have no clue what we're talking about, on Friday, Wenger stated he was going to step down from the Arsenal Football Club after 22 years? 22 years in charge of the Gooners.
Oh, and full disclosure, I'm again home alone tonight with the baby, so the baby monitor is in the studio. So
yeah,
if that starts happening, I hope Ron calls him from China soon, or you're going to be real alone.
It's a late night with Ferris.
It's oh man, yeah, those are things we're going to talk about. I'm a little upset. No, Wenger out. I'm a little upset that Ron is in China for this one. I feel like he's been waiting for this, like the rest of us.
Yeah,
but yeah, I got predictions for the best storylines to come out of this. Crazy ones.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna like them. But first, let's some beer.
Thank you.
Because we're gonna talk Wenger out, talk a little beer. Okie dokie. So since Ron's not here, I didn't want to go too crazy. So I'm going to go with a brewery that we have already had before. And since I had the opportunity to do some work with a Mardi Gras parade, I went back to the New Orleans brewery known as Urban South and got us a Holy Roller IPA made especially for the Mardi Gras season.
Nice, man. That's pretty cool.
And for those of you listening at home, wherever you're listening, a few episodes ago, we did an Urban South beer, and it was their Charming Wit. It was their kind of Belgian style wit beer. It was delicious, ended up being really good. So I thought I'd go back as well for the Holy Roller IPA. It's kind of it's got the streets of New Orleans, kind of got a church, kind of like a stained glass vibe. At the top there's a dove though, and the bottom there's a coiled coral snake. And it says, brewed with mosaic and citra hops, bold IPA for all of us caught between the best intentions and bad behavior. Which, maybe that's another slogan for our show. I like it.
Yeah, I like that too.
And I do like their little saying, the Urban South is where cars drive on cobblestone, vines cover graffitied brick, and warehouses buzz with new kinds of work. We make its beer.
The very top of the can says, the right place, the right people. The right beer.
Boom. So this was canned in late January because it was typically it was supposed to be for Mardi Gras, which would have been right around Fat Tuesday, right around the corner. So we're trying this a little late, but nevertheless.
Hey man, I'm excited.
I'm gonna put into this little.
What kind? It's IPA.
Yep, it's Holy Roller IPA.
Okay.
Brewed in New Orleans. I'm gonna slip it into my Brewtiful can koozie.
I think I'm gonna do the same. Brewtiful can koozie.
Brewtiful can. It is a Brewtiful Game can koozie. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Ooh, buddy. That smells really good.
Ooh, I got a little bit of the foam on the mic. That's why we have this called a windscreen.
When you've got your foam screen for us. Man, when you get that really good citra hop, smell that thing, man. Oh, that smells so good.
Ooh, doggy.
Oh, right.
Smells good.
Well, in honor of Wenger, salut, my friend.
Salut. The right club, the right manager, The right time.
The right time. Yep. It fits right on the beer. This beer is great.
That is tasty, man.
Oh, man.
That is a good taste in IPA.
Don't make any mistake about it. It's super hoppy, but it's not. But it's citrusy. It's not. That was Tucker, not the baby there on the monitor. That was my dog. It's
Excuse you again.
He's just hacking a bone, Clark. Don't worry.
Oh, he's okay.
He's probably just nosing.
No, he knows it's the trash.
Oh, we already got a nice Christmas Vacation reference in. Yeah, it's hoppy, but it's not.
It's not overbearing.
No.
Very, very smooth.
It's balanced well, man. I mean, that's a good Mardi Gras beer. I did not check.
That's the citra hops.
What was the alcohol content on this guy? Was it on the can there? I don't know. Man, this is really good. I was going to say this feels like a very session kind of IPA.
I don't.
You can sit there and have a few with, but I don't see. I was checking to see what the alcohol content is. And I don't see it on the can.
I don't see it either
right now to kind of give you an idea of how much of a session beer this truly is, or it isn't. I have when does Ron get back? Before we move on to Wenger.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
We need to check, because if I have a gift for the pod from Jason Horn, but
oh Lord,
no, it's a cool gift.
It's like an Egyptian
I'm gonna
pharaoh or something.
Set it to the side. Because it is for the pod as we go into the World Cup. And if Ron, I want to start it soon, but if Ron gets back the next week or two.
He'll be back before the World Cup, yeah.
But it's for something that we can, right. It's a tradition a lot of British kids or English kids
tradition like any other
the World Cup may have done. But we'll get to that. It's a fun little gift for the show. We'll find out from Ron whenever he texts us and let us know he can call in. God, I just love technology.
Hear them technology.
Oh, yeah. Here. Okay, so... Well, where do we start with first?
Because we don't really have content for this. So we just kind of toss it. Do we want to talk before we get into Arsenal and?
Sure, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Mo Salah,
Mohamed Salah,
and he is the Player of the Year for
Egyptian wonder.
The PFA, which stands for Professional Footballers Association. Right?
Yes, I believe you're correct.
Yeah, but it might not be English though. I can't
huh?
Yeah, Professional Footballers Association.
Yes. I think that's the one voted on by the players, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I think everybody thought, a month ago, this was Kevin De Bruyne's.
Well, and he still has a very good argument, because Kevin De Bruyne, if you don't know, and I don't believe we've done a pod since then, the Premier League winning Manchester City, Kevin De Bruyne, superstars on the entire team. He kind of led the team in that with a bunch of assists, a bunch of goals. So he had every right for a very strong. I mean, you either get the player that has scored the most goals in a very long time. I think he's tied up there with 31 now on the season, just in the Premier League. Or you take the player that has been the focal point of a Premier League winning side that has won it joint tied for the most games, out before the year is done, and will probably be over 100 points in the league. It was kind of a toss-up, but I think,
you know what? I think Mo Salah shows a more... He's on a good club. Liverpool's got a good team this year. There's no doubts. I got to be honest, and this kind of leads all to what occurred today in the Champions League. Mo Salah scored a brace today against Roma as Liverpool
and I heard
rolled.
One was a wonder goal. I haven't seen it yet, though.
5-2. They destroyed Roma. So De Bruyne is on a better team, a more complete team. Let's put it that way. More complete team.
I mean, with that, the PFA Young Player of the Year went to Leroy Sané.
Yes,
on Manchester City.
So Mo Salah, I think, if you talk about, and this is the players voting on,
this is correct. This is the players.
Maybe
player
they feel like as players they look and see that he actually individually did more. Because he didn't, what he didn't have on his team? A Kevin De Bruyne to feed him the ball like Aguero does, or do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, you're right. He didn't. He did have.
Also, people.
He did have Firmino.
The players.
He had Coutinho for a little bit.
Yeah, but the players as a person like him.
Oh, from everything, yeah. From all reports, yeah.
Obviously, nothing against Kevin De Bruyne. I think that either. I'd love to know the final tally votes, but it's interesting. It's the players that vote. I mean, look, if it had gone to Kevin De Bruyne, we'd still be saying the same things. Totally deserved.
I do think it's kind of odd that they vote well before the season's ended, because at that time they didn't know Man City was. I mean, everybody kind of figured Man City was going to win the championship, but they or the Premier League.
Yeah, but at this point, at least your top clubs are kind of decided, and your
yeah, and Mohamed Salah has led the goal scoring race all year.
Yeah, no, he's great, and Liverpool today looking great again. I think it was a couple pods ago. I said, is this team weirdly actually built to not win the Premier League, but to win the Champions League?
Yeah,
because this team plays against Bayern Munich. If they end up in a final, if they end up in a final against Bayern Munich, which mind you, they're coached by Jurgen Klopp, who is that if you got to go play against Bayern Munich, if that's who you're going to play in your final is Bayern Munich, I think Klopp's who you want as your coach.
It would be a little disconcerting. Is that a word?
Oh, if they had to play Bayern?
Yeah, because I don't believe Klopp's record against Bayern isn't bad, but they've been in the Champions League final a couple times and have yet to win it.
He has never had the 6-shooting, magnificent 7 that he has in Liverpool either. So many people that can score.
6-shooting son of a gun, you old sailor, you.
Yeah, it could be fun, man. Hey, Bayern still got to win to get in. Did they play today?
They play tomorrow. Because they were in the semifinals, they just go one day. I'm going back to Salah and De Bruyne. Salah on 31 goals this year. That's roughly 5 above Sir Harry of Kane. De Bruyne, 15 assists this year. So each have kind of led in similar categories. And De Bruyne had some good goals, not quite up there within the top within the top 10. De Bruyne only had he wasn't even in the top 20, and then the top 20 ended on 9. So I think he ended in like the 8 or 9 range there. But 15 assists is a lot, and I mean, point is they were neck and neck, and I think Salah probably got it if I had to guess, because he was in the Premier League once, went away, went to Roma, who they played in the Premier League, or who they played in the Champions League today, came back, and everybody thought, oh, he's going to be a nice, tidy, serviceable player coming off the wing. We'll get some goals, we'll get some assists. But yeah, not expecting
a superstar,
a right winger, just pounding 31 goals. And by the way, they weren't like one touches into the back of the net and crosses that he kind of just dinked in. They were some lovely, lovely goals that he scored.
A
lot of skill, a lot of good footwork, a lot of power in the shot. He's your PFA Player of the Year.
No, dude's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, without a doubt. I can't.
It's the nicest thing I'll ever say about a Liverpool player.
Yeah, but you also love their managers.
I do like Klopp a lot, yeah.
So that can swing us to our FA Cup. Southampton, could they win it and get relegated? They have a chance at it.
Who? The what?
I said Southampton. Could they win the FA Cup? And
no, they don't.
No, I know. That's what I was hoping for. That's what I'm saying. That was our viewpoint going into the FA.
True.
This last bit of the FA Cup was, oh man, I hope Southampton wins the FA Cup. In a year, they're going to get relegated. But which we said that had been several years since that had happened.
Since Wigan, Roberto Martinez's Wigan, 2008.
But that did not occur. Because where are we sitting at now in our FA Cup?
Oh, we are sitting with a Chelsea win of 2-0 on Sunday. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It was a beard lumbersexual.
Oh, Olivier Giroud.
And then a rare sighting, Alvaro Morata goal as well. So 2 of their big strikers getting goals, and they get a pretty comfortable win.
And to be fair, Southampton look like the team that's getting relegated.
They looked every bit of that team. Yeah, I mean the first half they did okay. They hung in the game, but the second half, just the power that Chelsea has and just push through, and they're going on to the final.
Who is Chelsea against in the final? Was that decided yet?
Yes, it is.
Is it Man U?
Yes, it is. It is one, the only.
Man, see, I guess I really...
Manchester United.
I've just only been paying attention to the Europa League.
Watch
so
it.
I wouldn't know.
Come on. Huh? This But the one thing you have to say
I'm not making
Jose.
I'm literally was like, wait, are they? Oh, it is them. Okay, because I was like, I'm focusing on the Europa League right now.
But what you could say is Jose has won the big games. He's going for his technically fourth trophy if you count the Community Shield last year, but third,
no, it can't, man.
He's going for the third trophy that's big-ish.
Yeah.
In 2 years. Will he win? I don't know, but I mean, playing against Tottenham in Wembley, which, by the way,
here's the thing: would a FA Cup win for Conte be awesome on his way out? Sure, but my money is on Man United to actually destroy Chelsea at this final.
When you give Jose time to prep and you get him to have a good game plan, and by the way, it's the only thing they're really going for.
And against
right
Chelsea, that's pretty impotent.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. If Chelsea was playing anybody but Southampton, I don't know that we'd have thought, sure, they'll win.
The way Chelsea were playing, I mean, you thought, well, maybe Southampton has a chance, but no, they didn't come out to play.
No, they did not look like a West Brom playing against Man United at all.
No, they did.
Sorry, we missed that game to talk about, so I just thought I would bring it back up.
And United played woeful that game too.
Yeah, United beat Man City, then lost to West Brom, just in case.
And then beat Tottenham at their home stadium in the FA Cup.
That's very Arsenal-y of you.
Very Arsenal-y. But honestly, Jose set his team up to
actually, it's very
succeed.
Spursy of you, to be honest.
And it was kind of similar to the City game in the fact that they were behind. They went down an early goal to a Dele Alli goal, and Tottenham looked the much better team within the first 20-ish minutes. And then shortly after that goal, it was the Pogba and Sanchez show. And the first goal from United, which is 10-ish minutes after Dele's goal, ball was in the corner, played out to Dembele. Pogba just muscled him and said, "Get off me, you little man," and just took the ball from Dembele. Why he didn't just try to clear it or get it out, no clue. But basically hustled him off the ball, got the ball to his feet, and played in a beautiful cross to Sanchez, who had to do some work in the air. He's not that tall of a guy, but got up and kind of leaned back, got his neck muscles into it, and buried it opposite corner. And a lovely goal. And with like that, they were back in the game. And they did not stop the entire rest of the game. The defense played great. The midfield played great. They kept Kane at bay. Second half, another cross in by Sanchez. Slight little touch to Lukaku coming across. Onto Herrera coming in from the midfield. Buries it. Not the best of goals. Good goal. But I feel like if Lloris was in goal for Tottenham, he probably would have saved it. Vorm was in goal for them. They're backup because he's been playing in all of the FA Cup games. But nonetheless, Herrera scores to keep a 2-1 lead, and Jose does it again.
FA Cup
big
final.
Game.
Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0. That's my call.
Yeah.
What would serve Chelsea fans right is Manchester United 1 early, park the bus, the rest of it, and then win. Beat Chelsea that way.
We'll see. The final, I believe, is on
it doesn't matter.
May 19th at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
It doesn't matter. It's the FA Cup. No one cares unless your team is in it.
Well, Arsenal was in it last year.
That's what I said. I cared then.
Yeah, true. Well, Ron and I will care. I'm going to try to get the day off.
It's true.
Ron and I will have a good, it'll be a good match.
What was the date again?
May 19th, so it's a week after the Premier League ends, which the Premier League ends on May 13th.
Yep. I'm already planning our pie day.
With a Sunday, so...
all 10 a.m. games.
Cool, man.
All a bunch of pie and beers at our place, and then wrap up the season. By the way...
Do you know what also is that day?
That would also be our third Premier League wrap-up since we started the show.
Very true. Do you know what also is that day?
What's that?
We have a 6 o'clock game. Orlando City against Atlanta United.
Ooh, that's home, isn't it?
That's a home game.
Woof.
Premier League Sunday. It goes into big-time MLS game.
We're going to need to take a nap after that podcast.
We're not going to have time.
Oh, yeah, 10 a.m. game.
10 a.m. to a 6 o'clock game. We got to get down there and get some food.
10 a.m. game. We do the pod, take a quick nap. Because if we don't, we're going to be dead.
True. I'll sleep in the crib.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Ron will sleep.
We got the doghouse. We got the tub. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I'll get one of those floaty things and just go out to
just
the pool.
Just go in the pool. Yeah. Then you'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Is that it? Is that it before we move on?
Yeah, I don't.
What's that?
Manchester City wins the Premier League. I mean, if you haven't heard, they're good. They're very good. They've
Manchester.
Pretty much, there was no doubt that they would eventually get there. Even that Man United.
It was pretty cool seeing
Derby.
the fans all rush the pitch and.
Yeah, I missed that, but I saw the pictures.
Everybody was like,
cool.
but it was done. It was cool. Like it was nothing crazy. I mean, it freaked out the groundsman, of course. But like,
well, yeah, and probably the security team. I mean, they try to keep people off the pitch, but from all accounts, it was a very well natured.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy.
Everybody was having fun. It wasn't. Nobody was trying to tackle players or give them the old two-finger salute and nothing like that.
No, there's Manchester City fans. We talked about this season for years.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year. Like they're breaking all sorts of goals scored. They're probably going to break points scored. They have 4 more games to get 10 points, and they'll be at 100 points.
There's only one season that will stand out better than theirs.
Invincible year.
Invincible.
Yeah, and then there was that. That United triple year.
But yeah, that's
just don't brush that away.
We brush that away because the Invincible was a season to be remembered. Not.
That was a Wenger.
We're talking about Invincibles, the Invincible years of Wenger's. As Wenger came into a club where people went, "Who is this guy?" And some people were upset because they liked the interim coach and thought he got shafted. But 22 years with 20 Champions League appearances, 2 Premier Leagues, 3 FA Cups?
7 FA Cups.
Oh, 7 FA Cups. That's right. He's got a ton of
7 FA Cups, 3 Premier Leagues, 3 Manager of the Years, all the years that he won the Premier League, obviously. No, he's had a fantastic career. And we'll get into that when Ron calls. I'm sure he'll want to. I guess, we can run through the table real quick to kind of find out where we're standing after 34 games. Some played 35. I think one thing we missed, and I think things pretty cool. Burnley sitting at 7th. I think with the FA Cup results,
if Burnley hadn't screwed up their previous match, they'd be in 6th right now.
True. But I think with the previous results in the FA Cup, because remember the FA Cup gets into the Europa League. Well, now we have Chelsea and, which Chelsea's already in 5th, so it wouldn't matter. Burnley, I believe, are secured into Europe.
Wait,
hold on.
Is that accurate? FA Cup winner goes to... I don't know.
The FA Cup winner would go, but because the only team that could have done that would have been Southampton, because United played Tottenham. Both of them are in the top 4. Chelsea's in the top 5. They're already in the Europa League via the qualifier, unless they make the top 4, which they'd be in the Champions League, and whoever drops down would be in the Europa League. Burnley being in 7th moves up because Chelsea are already automatically in, so they get that, and I believe Arsenal drops. Oh, no, hold on.
Yeah. I think you got to look up at that. I don't know if those things are accurate that you just said.
You serious, Clark?
Yeah, because I thought it was just 5th and 6th go to Europa. I didn't realize it was also. But I guess we haven't had an FA Cup winner in a while that wasn't in the top 4 or 6 in that respect.
No, hold on.
Because I thought Burnley, Burnley really dropped an opportunity. Arsenal loses to Newcastle terribly, and Burnley had a chance to go ahead.
Okay, so hold on,
and did not.
They did not, right?
But they sit close behind Arsenal, and Arsenal is not secured in that 6th spot yet, still at all. But
okay, so all right, I was right. It's not guaranteed yet, but work still needs to be done. Well, for a Europa League spot.
Hold that thought.
Okay,
I think a phone call from China is about to come in. Ooh, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, finally joining us on the show, calling in from Beijing, we have Mr. Ron Keller.
What's happening?
Oh no, wait!
Except I'm in Osaka.
You're in Osaka, Japan right now.
You're not in the.
Can't even keep it straight.
Japan,
you left us and you were in Beijing. Right. Now you're in Osaka, Japan. Then you'll be in California for a little bit. Then you're back here.
Almost right. Beijing, Osaka, Singapore, California, Orlando.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez.
Sorry. Oh, Singapore.
So when do you officially get back again?
I get back hopefully the end, like the 18th, something like that.
Oh man, you're not going to be here for the final day of Premier League then.
No, the 18th though. Is that a Saturday?
FA Cup is Sunday the 19th.
No, it's the 18th.
Oh, is the 18th?
Well, hold on.
Oh, I'm gonna miss it.
It's a Saturday. Well, depends on.
Yeah, it depends on when you get in. Yeah,
it depends on when you get in because it's a noon game, but it is. Yeah, well, no, I don't know. Lies. You were correct. It's May 19th, which is a Saturday. So yeah, if you get back on the 18th, then you will be back in time to.
Oh, we could do the FA Cup
Chelsea.
final.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
And if you had been on the pod earlier, you'd have heard me predict Chelsea 0, Man United 2. I love you.
Whatever.
I just saying that's my prediction.
Whatever.
So we were just discussing right before you let us know you could chat. Burnley's current situation and going to Europe, as they are 2 points away from Arsenal at this point.
They are not quite.
They had an opportunity to burst
They are
ahead.
4 points,
or 4
behind,
points,
but
right.
they do. But Arsenal have a game in hand as well.
Right.
So Burnley, it's kind of within their hands, despite Southampton's FA Cup exit at the hands of Ron's Chelsea.
You're welcome.
That means that seventh in the Premier League will now be assured of a spot in Europe. And the Clarets need just 4 points from their final 3 games to make certain of the top 7 finish. So yes, if they don't finish top 7, which they have Everton at 45 points, and they're sitting at 53. So as long as Burnley gets 4 points here, they will be secured.
They're going to Europe. Can you believe that?
Awesome.
Freaking Burnley going to Europe.
That's killer.
Yeah, that's huge.
And I think they can do that. They have 4 games left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe.
So I think they can.
And more importantly,
take 4 points out of 4 games.
More importantly, I don't believe Everton can catch up.
No, I don't believe they can either. I'm trying to find out though. I believe that would eliminate Arsenal because I believe only 2 teams can make it in. Or maybe it's 3 sometimes. I don't.
It gets confusing when you've got all those around. But this
either way, they're in good form right now. Aside from their loss to Chelsea, so I think they have a really strong shot at being able to do it.
I agree, and I would love to see them in Europe. Can you imagine like a European night at Turf Moor?
Oh yeah,
with Sean Dyche on the sideline. That's brilliant.
That would be fun.
I love that I can tell that you are out in the public with background music playing and pumping through the line.
I'm walking through the park and passing through all the different lands.
That's hysterical.
And now I'm in the back of house, so we'll be okay.
Perfect. Well, you joined us right.
I just need that epic theme music.
Yeah, it's your intro music. I just we needed you on so that we could move on officially to the title of this episode, Wenger Out.
Oh, it's an exciting time to be in the Premier League right now. The end of this season is going to be interesting with Conte. I mean, he's got to be gone, and that leaves Wenger going. So these 2 clubs, 2 massive titans in the Premier League, are going to be without managers.
Yeah, but Arsenal
will be interesting to see.
22 years since they've had to shop for a manager.
Yep.
That's a very interesting position to be in.
I don't know. Blake, did you say it earlier? But do you know what club Arsene Wenger came from?
He came from Japan.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Currently, we're on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to Nagoya Grampus 8. Is that a team, Ron?
Nagoya?
I'd have to see the name.
Yeah, I think
Nagoya Grampus 8.
It's Nagoya. I'm just not sure what the other one is because Ferris is looking at it, not me.
Nagoya Grampus 8 is the team, I guess.
But he was over there coaching in Japan. They actually wanted Arsene earlier, or somebody on the board did, but they were shot down. And so when they had the opportunity later to get him, They did. I only know this because, of course, there's been so much talk about Arsene. Actually, if you want a really good thing to listen to, the Arsecast, run by the guy who does the Arsecast, the extra episode
the
about
Ars blog too.
Yeah, it was an Ars blog, a different guy actually.
Oh, is it?
Right,
Okay,
two different guys, but they do the Arsecast extra together. That's a really good episode where they talk to a lot of different people about and a lot of history from the point of view from Arsenal fans and those who were at the old Highbury Road before moving over to the Emirates Stadium. So a lot of history there. I will say that hearing folks like that who are Arsenal fans chat about how they feel, I think I'm in the same boat I am so blissfully relieved and excited for change, recognizing the next guy may not be the real next guy. It might have to be some body or two in between before you really find your next big coach. But
i.e. Man United.
Also really sad. I mean, we talked about it previous, after he won the FA Cup last year, was that last year? Yes. Or being like, God, I wish he'd just step away now.
Yeah.
And so that it doesn't fade away.
Well, I think
the club did seem genuinely shocked.
Yes,
they were not prepared for him to make that announcement.
And I think there were reports last year.
I think they wanted him to finish I think they really wanted him to just finish out his contract.
I think the club wanted to have some more time to find who his successor would be.
Well, and so
right. That's why they want him to finish out his contract so that they have time to really prepare for all that. And, the board is not the most decisive of boards. So, I'm willing to bet they're still on two sides of the fence right now trying to figure, or if he were to continue and didn't announce his resignation, they're so indecisive. So this kind of forces their hand, and no,
this is Arsene.
I don't think they were prepared for that.
That's Arsene doing one more thing to show how much he loves the club, because that's going to push them forward to do something. Now, that being said, there's a lot of scuttlebutt though about this. Some of it was he made this decision on his own. Other was he was told you need to make this decision. Now, him announcing it when he did seemed like it might have been a surprise, but whether he was, forced out or not, that seems to be.
Well, I would go more on the side of I think it was on his own.
I think he announced it on his own, but I think they told him.
I don't know why would the club tell him that if they don't really.
He gave
they have a successor lined up.
A bad interview following the Newcastle match, and people freaked out over it, and the way his attitude was.
So was he forced out from the fans?
Well, no. I think it felt
the court of public opinion.
Yeah,
right.
When you saw that interview, people were like, "If the board isn't done now, they should be." The way he was talking about it and being like, we're gonna be, we're our goal now is we finish in 6 above Burnley, and they were like, "That's where we're at now. That's what you're like." It did come across a little defeatist in the situation, as opposed to really saying we're going to get in the Champions League, next year. We're going to take Europa League. It was a really bad interview following a game they never should have lost in Newcastle.
Well, but you could say that. Sorry, Ron.
No worries. I think too that. Oh, thank you. I think one thing that we're not thinking about is the board has done, in my opinion, just as much to hurt the rep of Arsenal as Arsene did, and in some ways to deflect that indecision and lack of responsibility. They put it all on Arsene, and I think if you're a new fan, you don't know by how they're playing and how Arsene acts and what the board's doing. I don't think you know that Arsenal is a titan club of the Premier League if you're a new fan. When I first got into the Premier League, it was, Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Man City wasn't really in it.
No.
Liverpool was a big one. Now, I think Arsenal has a slightly higher rep than, Burnley does at this time if you're a new fan. So I think the board really needed to get some change maybe they figured out exactly how bad the damage is, and it's time to.
Because at this point,
it's time to fix that.
You don't get into Europe, depending on how things went with Burnley. Possibly, you don't get into the Champions League, and you got to find a good manager and players that want to play on that team. That's harder now.
But the club would not be anywhere near where it's at right now without Wenger. What he's done in his tenure there has been short of incredible. He will go down as a legend.
But that whole thing of
he rightly should be.
Leave him wanting more. He just needed to step away a little earlier.
I think we all can agree that after the FA Cup win last year would have been a good time. Sir Alex did it after he won the Premier League, but he left United in a worse shape than Wenger is going to leave Arsenal. Arsenal still has a lot of very, very good players.
Yeah, but
a brand new stadium, the manager coming in I feel like is going to be set up for success, especially if that manager has some cash to buy some defenders or some center defensive midfielders. You still have Czech can still play. You have great forwards. You have good wingers. A couple of good fullbacks there.
For me though, Ferris. For me though, it's not. I'm not taking away from anything Arsene Wenger has done, but it's time that the club needs to change. So yes, he's done so much for it, but he needs to move on, and part of that is the board's responsibility. So I'm not saying was terrible for Arsenal. He, clearly he's put Arsenal on the map, but it's still time. That doesn't change the fact that it's time for him to move on.
Right, and I think everybody can agree on that. It is time, and I think again, I mean, him doing it kind of 4 games left in the Premier League when it looks like they're not going to. But you know what? He could have also done it. I know they're not in it for the Premier League, but he could have also done it to maybe give the club and the fans a boost in Europa League against Madrid coming up.
Well, here's hoping that the boys show up,
get it, and then they can get in the Champions League via that way. And if he wins the Europa League as kind of his last, that's a great finish to his tenure at the club to get them in the Champions League for one last time.
Which means he's either going to be a hero or a zero.
Yeah, all I got to do is beat Atletico Madrid, that's not a given.
No, I think
if you can do all that, he's going to go out on a really good note. If he cannot do all that, he's not going out on that great a note.
Hey Ron,
and in this new world of sports, it's much more, what have you done for me lately?
Hey Ron, real quick, speaking of at the moment lately, you are like taking a little break at work right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just hold on a second.
Yep.
I don't know if you could hear the sound of that delicious can cracking in your ear.
Sucker.
Bunch of jerks.
Yeah,
I'm just going to go, after work, I'm just going to go have another tomato beer.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
You know what?
On Instagram is where you posted that, right?
We're having a delicious IPA from Dirty South, the awesome brewery from New Orleans. I got us a few days ago.
I'll meet you up there.
But before we roll on to any more Wenger conversation, I do feel like you should let the good folks listening know about the delicious, nutritious beer. Ferris just about blew beer out of his nose when I said that. Your nutritious, delicious, surprise red beer that you got that you thought was like a red ale, like an Irish ale.
Like an amber ale, yeah.
What was it called?
It's Yebisu, which is a Japanese beer.
Yeah.
It's like Asahi makes it or has some sort of hand in it. So I'm at this restaurant in the underground of Osaka, and they have these Yebisu beers that I've never had. One of them is a lime, one of them is a red ale, there's a Pilsner, and there's something else. So I was like, I'll give the red ale a try. So it shows up, and it's cloudy, and that kind of gave me my first idea that this wasn't accurate.
Cloudy like a mood thundercloud?
Cloudy like a Belgian wit.
Okay.
And there's sediment in the bottom. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of yeast for a red ale. This is really interesting.
That's amazing.
And then I take my first sip, which is not what you saw on the video.
No.
And I could not describe what I was drinking. It was so alarming at first because
is it like when you grab the wrong drink? You thought you were grabbing a water, but you get a Coke, and your brain freaks out already on just that.
Yes, exactly what happens. That.
Oh, do we lose Ron?
I think we did.
Oh, hold on.
He had that. It sounds like he had that V8 light draft.
Yeah. We're gonna call Ron back because I got it.
The best part of the story
Ron
cuts out. Ron,
still
there?
Back? We're calling back because I need to know about the tomato beer.
Do we really need to? I'm glad he tried it and not me this time. Usually, like I'm the one that tries like the crap beer.
The tomato beer got to him.
He's in the park somewhere just barfing into a trash can right now. The day afterwards, that sediment down there, folks, that was tomato.
Oh, that was not yeast sediment. That was tomato skin.
That was like that was oh god. Oh.
That was chunko tomato.
Oh, and go to our Instagram page and watch that video because it looks every bit about how Ron was describing it. And when he first sent it to us, it just came with the headline of the Amber Ale.
You hear that? I think we just connected back to Ron. Hey, Ron, we got you, buddy?
No, because there's nothing happening. He's still, his head's in the trash. So.
Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Well, there we go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry about that.
Truth that even us veterans of the broadcast world can sometimes have technical difficulties. Are we veterans? Are you serious, Clark? We're veterans. That doesn't mean we've learned anything.
I don't know if we're even veterans. I don't even call us that. Borderline, right above amateur levels, where I would put us.
I would put us at tomato sediment at the bottom of a beer level, because that's where we lost you. Your first sip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was your?
The first sip I took, the puckering recoil that I had was not the video.
That's the opposite of excellent head retention.
Yes,
puckering recoil.
Puckering recoil.
That was a vicious beer. I mean,
now let me ask you something.
It was.
You put a little vodka clam juice in that beer and a stalk of celery, you got a Bloody Caesar.
I mean, you certainly might, and that is not a euphemism.
Did you finish the entire thing?
I did. I had to.
Attaboy.
All right.
You have to.
That's a beer that definitely give you heartburn. Woo.
So, yeah, Yebisu makes weird beers. They have a cherry pilsner, which
that sounds good.
That sounds better than
is
tomato.
not. It arrives at your table and it looks exactly like a normal pilsner. There is no coloring or anything different. And then when you drink it, it's like assaulting your mouth.
Like with sour cherries or just what?
Yes, because what it looks like you're drinking and then the taste you get is not even close to what you expect.
It was like Crystal Pepsi. You remember that?
Oh, I do. The clear Pepsi?
Yeah. Totally mess with your head.
Yeah, Pepsi Clear. And but it's also, by the way, it wouldn't be that bad if the beer was good. It's fucking horrendous.
Ron got our first
for once.
Ron, for once.
All the way from Japan. That a boy.
You are the
international bleeps. That has to cost you like $13 there.
What's the exchange rate?
Yeah, what's the exchange rate?
I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah. Don't drink that one. And then I had to try the lime.
That actually doesn't sound bad.
Sounds like a Corona.
It is bright green.
Whoa.
Maybe not.
And then so it's lime flavored, but then they give you limes to put in it.
Oh.
Like counteracts the lime.
And it's amazing.
Oh, that one is good.
Good, nice.
Okay.
It's phenomenally good.
I bet it tastes like lime.
It tastes like it tastes like you took a Pacifico Clara and put an entire lime in it.
You You got my attention with Pacifico Clara.
Yeah, he just perked up there.
It's still really good. It's a little on the extra limey side.
Well, yeah, I would think so. You put lime into lime, and then you
put the lime in the coconut, and you mix it all.
There.
Turn it all about.
Doctor!
So if you get the chance, I actually recommend that you try it because it is any of those beers from Yebisu. Try them because they are certainly a novelty beer, kind of like the jalapeno pilsners and those kinds of things.
The tomato beer I need for like Premier League breakfast. Then I wouldn't feel bad about having a beer at 7 in the morning.
No.
Yeah,
we don't bring that. No, we don't bring that back.
We don't bring that back.
We don't bring that back. That wouldn't pass customs. Like customs would say no. You can't.
Ron,
come
you need
to
bring
that
back as the next Moo Thunder.
So the good news is that I have a friend here who is acquiring me a 6-pack of said tomato beer.
Wait,
so
what does that mean?
So that means we got some bets to drop. Stuff just got real. That's what it means.
What can I mix the tomato?
No,
you said it earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do
Don't put vanilla ice cream in tomato beer.
No. Hey, on that note, though, it was just my birthday, and I had a friend just drop off before Ferris got here a hot homemade apple pie. You best believe I slapped some ice cream on that, and just, man, that was so freaking good. Then I was like, do I have pie on the podcast? No, I have beer. That'd be weird. But I thought about it.
I would have been happy. Ron wouldn't have, but I would have been happy.
That's awesome.
So,
and by the way, happy birthday.
Thanks, man. It was a good one.
Big 2-1.
I had a great weekend. Orlando City won their match. Arsenal won their match big time. And then friggin' the Pride won.
You know, it was the first weekend that all 3 of our clubs won, 2 of which being the Pride and City. But Chelsea won. And United won as well.
Yeah.
I think it's the first weekend that's ever happened.
It was a Brewtiful weekend.
It was a Brewtiful weekend. Oh, cheers to that, sir.
Yep.
Brewtiful birthday weekend, man. I'll take it.
Hey, and on that note, I have got to get back to it.
Cool. You just got to say one thing. Who's Arsenal going to hire as replacement?
Antonio Conte.
Ooh, that's a shout.
Well, I can't wait
just to piss off the Blues.
I can't wait for you to listen to this pod, Ron, and hear my theories that I'm about to drop.
Oh,
so
God. Here we go.
Good.
Awesome.
I got some
the arsenologist over here.
Well, you
arsenologist. That's
arsenologist,
a term.
yeah. Because you can't say arsonist. You could spell it, but if you heard
that would
work
be
well.
right. And then you're like the FBI coming after you because you're saying
arsenologist.
Right.
I like that.
That's like having a business card that's an analyst and a therapist at the same time.
Yeah,
exactly. You call it an analrapist.
I love.
And you're welcome.
Arrested Development. Will you travel safe to Singapore, then California, then back to here?
Correct. So the next couple podcasts we do, I'll be on the road for.
Cool. Also, then it sounds like we'll see you FA Cup Saturday.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Cool, man.
All right, buddy.
Safe travels.
Later, man.
Take care, gents. Cheers.
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 Okay. And I say we're back because of how I've edited this. You won't even realize that we were gone. But as we say goodbye to Ron, and we continue our conversation a little bit more into the Arsene Wenger situation, which I don't think there's too much more to say. I can never keep up where Ron is, though. I swear I thought he was in Beijing right now.
I don't know where the hell he's at.
Yeah, dude is like, I mean, every time I'm like,
he's in a country.
What are we doing? What are we doing? This dude is.
Yeah, we're boring as. We're sitting here.
Dude's out doing
sitting here for the past. Yeah, he's all over the place. I'm not coming back to like May 18th. That's like a month from now.
Yeah, I really thought he was back in a week or two. So we got to figure out what we're doing for Premier League Day.
Just gonna be you and I.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm off.
I mean, yeah, that's ooh.
Well, like we said earlier, we got the
well, with any luck, we'll have
Atlanta game too.
Some interesting conversation on this front of some. It's a good possibility at least the top. Well, I don't know. I was just saying.
Wait, did we actually go through some of the
we go through
the table? We went through.
It really only matters at the bottom at this point, in the sense of like, but those bottom 3, I don't. There's starting to be some distance being put between them. Crystal Palace winning,
there is.
So it may not be much of an.
So your bottom 3 going from the bottom up. West Brom sitting on 25. They're pretty much gone. Stoke City sitting at 29. Southampton sitting at 29. Southampton does have a game in hand. Next team, 17th, Swansea, sitting with a game in hand from the bottom two, is on 33. Huddersfield Town sitting on 35. They also have a game in hand. And then West Ham, is where I was going with that, game in hand as well, and they're sitting on 35. Crystal Palace also sitting on 35-14.
We might be decided.
Well, I think we are. I think we said that a couple pods ago. I do think we are, but it could still be very tight.
Yeah. I think you know what's going to be real tight? It might be the last day of the year that we're looking at the Burnley-Arsenal situation.
But for Burnley, it doesn't really matter at this point. As long as they get 4 points, they're in Europe.
No. It matters, though, in the sense that if Burnley managed to finish in the top 6, that's huge.
I don't...
It may not matter as far as getting to Europe.
Arsenal has a game in hand. They're playing for Wenger right now. I don't see them.
Yeah, but I don't
see them going below the 6th spot that they're in.
Yes, they just had a great game. It's not, and if they are pushing and look like they can beat Atletico Madrid, they can go in the Europa. I don't know, man. It's possible Arsenal loses. I mean, they lost to Newcastle, dude.
I think from here on out, the players are going to play for Arsenal. I would really like to see them win the Europa League and finish off the Premier League on at least a good note, which would be a win or a couple of wins.
Ron threw out Conte. I guess it's the last thing we can kind of talk about.
All right. Well, before we do that, I'm pretty sure I know your answer.
Well, I don't think you do.
Well, not for that.
My answer is yes. This beer is still delicious.
In one sentence, what can you say about him and his time at Arsenal?
The best manager Arsenal will ever have. The days of Alex Ferguson's, of Arsene Wenger's, who stay at a club for a long time and not only provide trophies, but literally leave their stamp and culture on a club, those days are gone.
They gone.
Pep can win 2 more. He could win the next 2 Premier Leagues. He has 2 crappy seasons following that, a third, he's out. Or another big club goes after. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where he'd go at this point. He's a weird example.
PSG or France national.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's those days are over.
Oh, 100%.
I don't think Manchester United, I mean, it may be in the next 100 years before they have a person like an Alex Ferguson that leaves.
No team will at this point, because that's not the culture that we're currently in.
Yeah.
Is if you don't win, you're out. Or if you don't have a very good back, and that's just throughout sports in general, because we're in the social media, we're in the fast thinking, we're in the now news.
Also,
Bill Belichick's of the world, they're not going to survive. The San Antonio coach.
In college football, when Beamer retired out of Virginia Tech, I was like, those days are done.
You're done.
So I believe that statement. I believe it wholeheartedly.
Well, you said a sentence. You ended it in a paragraph.
But the sentence is, he's the best manager that Arsenal will ever have.
And you said something earlier that when Sir Alex Ferguson retired at the end of 2012-2013 season, Wenger then became the longest-serving manager when that occurred.
Yeah.
I think the only other one behind him right now is tied for like Sean Dyche and
it's not. So
somebody else. I don't remember.
It is. Those days are. They may come back, but they're not going to. But
they're gone.
Yeah.
Even the Peps of the world, even in his tenure at Barca, that was long serving. But then he was at Munich. Now he's at Man City. He's only going to be there for a few more years. He's not going to be there for the next 10.
5 years. 5 years. I feel like would be a long run. If he did a 5-year
5 years, probably like the longest. Like I literally think like Sean Dyche is tied with somebody else as the longest tenure in the league.
We could reach a point where it gets so ridiculous that you get people to stick around for a while because clubs are like, we are just churning through coaches.
And they're probably tired. Just pay out.
And also, like, it's hard enough to put together your top 11. Finding just one manager, and that's where Arsenal sits at now. Yeah, who you gonna get?
Do you want me to tell mine first?
What's your sentence? Your one sentence?
Oh, my one sentence for Arsenal.
Did you have one? Or for Arsene, not Arsenal.
To be honest, I hadn't thought about it, but what I would probably say in my one sentence, Arsene is Arsenal.
Yes. You know the other thing they're going to miss? The Premier League is going to miss. England is going to miss. He was really big about cultivating the young talent.
And he brought
at a big club.
And he brought a style of play to the league.
He changed the
Premier League.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are potentially, between the Klopps and the Peps, maybe watching that happen again.
Very, very easily.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a little early to tell. Just like you didn't realize that with Arsene until you're a little bit further down the road. But yeah, he leaned into those Spanish players and the style of play, and like, and then he moved on to the German. Like he didn't just stick in one thing. He really did change the way things are. Now, that all being said, I do think it's time, because I think he's done with that. I think the Premier League has now changed and evolved into something else, and that is not where he's at anymore. So it's a good time to step away. So who's it going to be?
Okay, so let me run through you the media's kind of managers.
Do you have their top few?
I have a few. So you have the Italian trio that could possibly. So Maximiliano Allegri, one of Blake's favorite names to say.
Love Maximiliano Allegri.
Carlo Ancelotti, who lives in London currently. And then former Chelsea boss, which Ron mentioned earlier, Carlo Ancelotti. Or no, I'm sorry, Antonio Conte. That's kind of your three.
Simeone has kind of fallen off of that.
Yeah, I think so. The young Germans are also coming to mind. Thomas Tuchel, Julian Nagelsmann, the current manager at Hoffenheim, and Schalke head coach Dominic Tedesco. You also have Luis Enrique, the former Real Madrid and Barcelona midfielder, but Barcelona's coach at the current time, I believe.
You didn't list Arteta.
Well, I'm not there yet, though. Not there yet. The former Gunners, Arteta would come to mind, who's currently at Man City, and Patrick Vieira, who's currently at NYCFC, both of which, oddly enough, are within the Man City organization. But their names come to mind.
And the top on the bookies is Luis Enrique. Luis
Enrique, right. Who I said earlier was is either the current or the former. He's not the current Barcelona. He left last June. But yes, Luis Enrique is the bookie's favorite, as you said.
A good choice. I couldn't argue against the choice. Don't know if he'll be a good fit, but it would make sense to bring him in.
Yeah, is that somebody though?
Or do you?
How long will he be there for?
Or is it that you're looking for someone for a couple of years, because maybe an Arteta isn't, because your former Gooners are Arteta, Henry, and who else that they're looking at?
No. Patrick Vieira and Arteta are really the nods. You could throw Henry in there, but with no prior coaching experience, and I don't even know if he has his badges yet. I don't even think that
Arteta and Vieira, I don't even think they're. What you want is you want to hire a coach that you say you're putting one of these guys in as your assistant. Between Arteta and Vieira.
But would either, Arteta be the more likely assistant. Vieira, the MLS is a different league than the Premier League. With that being said, Patrick Vieira was one of the greatest Premier League players to ever play. Mm-hmm. Managerial-wise, he's done very well here in the States.
Doing good right now. Can
he translate that to...
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think Luis Enrique, though, it does make the most sense. It is the most comfortable choice. Again, much like what happened at Man United, I don't know that. I think I think anybody that walks in struggles for a couple of years.
But do they keep that person? Because we brought in Moyes, and Moyes is gone after year 2.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, I think they don't. I think it's going to take.
I'm sorry, he was gone after the first year.
Yeah, then Van Gaal for 2.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So, no, I think it's going to take a couple of managers to figure out what you're going to do. And you never know. In 5 years, we could be like, holy crap, Eddie Howe did it. Or holy crap, Vieira did, or Arteta. Or like, you know what I mean? Those guys aren't right now, though. They're not right now.
Okay, so who do you want, and who do you think will get it are two separate things?
Man, I kind of like Simeone, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that
and here's why. Whether it works or not, he is a younger guy. He's not young, but like he's this buff, younger ex-player that
I think he has a chip on his shoulder.
He does, and he looks like a guy that if one of these prima donnas in Arsenal wanted to say something, he'd tell him to go jog off and go do their thing. You know,
but in Spanish, right? It sounds a lot better.
But there is something I see in him that I think that could be good to whip some of these players into shape. You know,
he would bring a different style to Arsenal as well. He would bring a defensive style, but one that can score goals. Because you think about it, he's had very good attackers play for him over the years,
and he's got some good ones right now
Diego
at Arsenal.
Costa, he would bring a different style. But no, I agree with you. I think he would bring something that Arsenal currently lacks. He's a big name. He is used to playing in Europe.
But I think he's not on this list, though.
No, because I think he's Atletico Madrid just opened up a new stadium, and
also he's not going to say anything like that while they're about to play Arsenal in the semifinal. Like nothing. He's going to quell everything. Now that being said, Luis Enrique is a safe choice. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't.
Why do you have
like
on there?
Like Simeone excites me. There are other choices that might excite me. But that I think Simeone. So you go that too, Simeone's who you would think not going to have that you'd like to see.
I would like to see.
Now Maximiliano kind of would excite me
because of the name alone,
but also like fiery. Like I feel like a good manager. Luis Enrique too, a good manager. It makes it sound like I don't think he's good.
Well,
it's just
Allegri has a little bit more. Well, you kind of talked about the now, right?
Yes,
Maximiliano Allegri kind of has the now with Juventus. He's look at what he's done with them. That's the now. So
that could be exciting too because he's but Luis Enrique, a good safe choice. But
who
it's not the best story?
Who actually gets it?
Oh no, hold on. Well, no, who actually gets it? I think is Luis. I think a choice like a Luis Enrique.
Okay.
It's a very safe choice. I'll be shocked if they don't do something like that. But you're forgetting the best story. Who's the Premier League really about? Who works in the Premier League that's like, this is about me. This is not about any of you. There's a story.
Really?
There's a story that if he were listening to this podcast, I know he does, he'll hear the truth in this and go, this would make for the greatest story ever. It would crush my opponent.
Please tell me.
Jose Mourinho steps away from Manchester United and takes over the reins of Arsenal so that he can step in and say, I am going to take them to the champions, to be champions, to finally stick it completely and thoroughly to Arsene Wenger.
I thought you were going to say Klopp, to be honest with you.
No,
you would love Klopp.
I would love that. This is the good story that he's like, I win the tie flip challenge. I'm going to take over Arsenal. Just saying. That's my story. That's my to be continued next week on HBO.
He's not doing it. It's not
Footballers.
Happening. Not happening.
Just
Mourinho's here
saying.
to prove people wrong. He's going to stay at a club more
yeah,
than 3 years.
You just proved my point. You just proved my point.
What is that?
You can prove people wrong. He's going to prove Arsenal wrong. Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man.
He's going to prove those that he's only been at a club for 3 years. He leaves the club in devastation, and now he's at United for at least the next 2 years.
Unless he just thought, I could pee all
maybe
over.
After those 2 years,
I could peel over Wenger's grave right now with this. Like,
no, that's not happening. It would be a hell of a story. You're absolutely right.
But Klopp, Klopp said something really nice. Yeah, actually, Klopp had a lot of managers said nice stuff after Arsene.
Jose did too.
Klopp's was one of the nicer ones, probably because it's coming from Klopp and it seems so genuine. Pep's was clinical, but Klopp seems so genuine. I was like, oh, come on over. You already wear red. We got attacking players and no defense. It's like the same team.
Yeah. Except that Liverpool has done it better this year.
Yeah. And come on, living in North London, you'd like it's good. There's some good pubs over there. I'm sure you can get your drink on, your German beers. Yeah,
but drink on with
your German beers. Come on, it's Klopp.
A college female, get your drink on.
Get your drink on. I don't know what that was. Yeah, Simeone though, that's the one that I would be the most exciting to me for a legitimate change, a different attitude. Change needs to happen. I think Luis Enrique I understand why the bookies have him up top because that is the board that's at Arsenal If they could, and he doesn't have a job either right now, that makes a lot of sense. That could make a lot of sense. Mikel, let's see. Checking this, by the way, the bookies have.
Oh, you have it.
Here goes Luis Enrique. Do they have his odds?
They're like
Standard Sports stands Arsenal considering Carlo Ancelotti. So they're not saying the odds. The former Gooner Mikel Arteta 15 out of 2. Patrick Vieira 8-1. Current top flight boss. This is so fuzzy. As a dark horse, Rafa Benitez is on the short list.
He's staying at Newcastle.
Yeah. Although, I mean, he'd leave if it was offered, but I don't
he's
think
a god right now, Newcastle.
Yeah.
There ain't no way you leave it. And the Geordies and the Toon Army up there, that's a huge fan base.
But also, I don't, that's not a great match.
No, I don't see
what do you think, Ancelotti? Do you think he'd step away? I mean, like, again, right now, he's not going to entertain any kind of idea that while they're...
I think the only way Ancelotti gets hired at Arsenal if he's a stopgap.
He's a good stopgap, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, he currently lives. I could see Ancelotti going to Chelsea.
More. You just bring up a good point. These two clubs have got big openings.
And I could see Ancelotti going back to Chelsea and staying there for longer. I could see Conte just leaving the country altogether.
Or we get Conte. That's what Ron threw out.
Yeah, it'd be an awesome story.
Conte, his earlier in the tenure, fiery Conte before he got crushed by the ownership and the board at Chelsea. That guy with that kind of passion, I'd take in a heartbeat.
I still think that's.
But I don't think it's. I don't think he's going to stay. He's
it's still a year or two thing.
He's going to take over Juventus so that Maximiliano can go over to Arsenal.
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah, very well could happen.
But that's the thing. Arsenal could have a choice they want, get snaked out from under them by Chelsea because. And you know what? Maybe this is another reason that Arsenal started to move forward. Maybe they did say to Wenger, this is going to be your last year because with Chelsea having it, if we don't move, we're not going to get some people we want. We want this to be our choice, not be forced upon us.
Yeah. Simeone would be who I would want for Arsenal. I think he'd be fun in the Premier League.
A great Premier League addition.
He would bring a lot of things that Arsenal currently don't have. Who I think, I'm going to throw out a name I said earlier, but one that you probably won't expect. But the track history that Arsenal has, well, I mean, of hiring these, I mean, you know, because Wenger coming from the Japanese club was not necessarily well known, but had won in France before, had won at Monaco, was at Nantes, and was at a lot of clubs in France where he really learned his craft and trade and the style that he brought to the Premier League. I think you could see the board and Arsenal going a similar route, not with the big name that everybody thinks they could, but with Julian Nagelsmann from Hoffenheim.
I did not expect that.
I know you
at all.
5th in the Bundesliga at the current time, plays a very attractive style, much of what Arsenal like and much of what they currently do. A name off the beaten path, but not so far off the beaten path where nowadays you would just get question after question for it, like you did 22 years ago with Wenger. So I think you could. Tuchel, we kind of see what he's done at Dortmund, but Tuchel wouldn't bring any sort of defense to.
Well, that wouldn't change anything as far as Arsenal's operating right
but
now.
You kind of want to change a little bit of something, and I don't know. I think
if he brings Christian Pulisic with him, I'd be fine with that.
Well, he's not there anymore. But yeah, no, I mean, so I think you could see a. I'm going to go with who I think. I'm going to go with a long shot. Do you even have his odds?
No, he's not on that list at all. That I was
perfect. I'll go with the dark horse, the outsider, Julian Nagelsmann.
So I want Simeone, but I'm saying Luis Enrique makes the kind of he makes the most sense kind of thing the board would do. Do you think the board would go if they think, hey, we're probably gonna have someone for a year or two? Is that when you get like a Vieira or an Arteta out of like a
if you're long-term building like they're used to, yeah, you could see that.
If they are committed to saying unlike the rest of the Premier League, we are happy with a 22-year investment. Let's get an Arteta in and give him the opportunity to grow. Do you take that? Do the fans?
Has he had enough experience so far?
If you've got a guy who's having a tough couple of years, the fans scream for his head. But if it's an Arteta, do they give him? I don't know.
Do you pair the two? Vieira, the head coach, the manager, and Arteta stays in that assistant role, but back to Arsenal?
I don't know, man. It's tough.
I think you could see like a Nagelsmann come in, or maybe not him, but a similar ilk to where you're thinking more long term and will want to build, and then you bring in Arteta. I mean, I said how ages ago, and if that happens, I think that would still be a very good signing for Arsenal.
Now, speaking
I'll
of
stand by
Arsenal,
that, but I mean, right now on at least what the semi-short list that he's not anywhere on the radar, and he's doing very well with Bournemouth. So realistically, I don't see that happening. But
speaking of like Arsenal earlier, I said they cultivate young talent. Well, Premier League 2, the younger Arsenal club, they just won the Premier League 2 champion.
Oh, did they now?
Over the weekend, yeah.
Very cool.
I forget who they were playing, but with that win, they secured the champions of Premier League 2. So they are cultivating young talent. They've got good young coaches, or I say young coaches, but coaches over there as well. Not that they would necessarily be a head coach, but there's some options to look at.
Big question from the entire thing, though, is will Wenger be the head coach of the United States of America?
French national team.
Or French national team.
I think he takes French, and I'd love to see that. Go back home. They could use it.
You'd be going back at a weird time, though. After the World Cup, so would you stay there for 4 years to get into the next World Cup?
If he says he's serious, he doesn't want to stop doing football, then yeah.
Yeah, true.
So,
it'd be interesting to see. It'd be very interesting to see what he does next, because from again all accounts and all reports, he wants to continue in the game, and he wants to continue managing and coaching in the game. So what options are out there for him?
Well, wait to see who Arsenal and Chelsea snag as well. They may gank coaches from places that would take Arsene.
I don't think he stays in the Premier League. Why would you?
No.
Oh.
They are going to gank coaches probably from out of Europe that are going to
yank coaches out of Europe.
Yeah.
Then leave spot. Okay.
Yeah. So like,
yeah, they could. I think PSG and the France national team are the two probably bookies' favorites for where he goes.
Either way, Shady, though, it's an amazing tenure, and I don't think Arsenal will ever have a coach as good. At least it's going to take another 100 years to get there. Dude changed everything, changed Premier League. It's been a long time for see a coach come in the Premier League and do that.
Pep could be the one right now, yeah.
Maybe, if he stays, though, right?
Well, yeah, because there were you kind of went through your stages, right? You kind of went through your your Sir Alex stage, right? He changed the league in a way and brought United to glory, back to glory. Wenger came in, played this very expansive, fun, attacking style. Thierry Henry, the Invincibles, Highbury, boom, boom, boom. Then you went into the Jose years, right? With Chelsea. Now are we in the Pep years?
Yeah, probably, because here's my thing.
Sean Dyche years, baby.
Next year, I'm going to amend my prediction of it'll be a red and blue race. It's going to be a red and blue race. I really think that Liverpool, Manchester United, and Man City, it's the top three. It's done.
I think right now,
I think Chelsea, Tottenham, and Arsenal, maybe Burnley, will be fighting for top four. The top four. But I think those three clubs, that's your top three. And I don't know where it's going to land because they're all getting good still. Well, Man City's been good. They're all looking good at the end of this season that I'm excited to see Man U and Liverpool kick off the following season, which against a Man City I'm already assuming is going to be good. Chelsea and Arsenal and Tottenham, Arsenal's a big question mark. Chelsea's a bit of a question mark.
you looking at in the fact that all those teams will remain constant in terms of their manager
I do, because,
and the style of play?
Yes, they're going to keep their managers. And like, it took Pep a couple years. Klopp, you're now starting to see like what his gegenpress style. It feels like he's finally fitting that into how he wants to play it in the Premier League.
The gegenpress sounds like a German waffle.
Yeah, it's the gegenpress. But like, I think they are. I think they're going to keep their manager. I think those are going to be good clubs. I think those three are your top three next year. Yeah. I will be shocked if they're not. I think Man City, if they win it again, it won't be like this year. It'll be a much tighter race.
I will agree with that too.
That's how it's going to roll. And I would not want to be a betting man and lay down any money on which one of those three are the top three.
No, I'd probably shoot for an outside shot.
Because I think Tottenham's, unfortunately, again, I think they've got a great club and a great manager that's not just going to be quite enough to beat the people that we're talking about.
Again this year. They still have not won any silverware yet. For as well and for as awesome that they played, Eriksson still hasn't won anything. Dele Alli hasn't won anything. No, Kane hasn't won anything.
It's like Dan Marino.
Yeah, well,
like dude just couldn't. Like everybody else had the greatest teams that he was playing around.
Hopefully, they keep all of them in the summer because once again they go another year without silverware. And do those players leave the club in hopes to get silverware? I don't know.
Oh, that could happen. But Arsene, great tenure, great manager.
Absolutely.
It sucks to kind of fizzle out a little bit. But at least there's going to be a great run-in for these final matches where you get to say goodbye. And hey, with any luck, he can win the Europa League.
Well, and your Europa League's not the Champions League, but you're playing against a huge team in Atletico Madrid. So yeah.
Well, in Europa League, we'll get more, probably something we all watch more tightly because let's be honest, the Premier League is no longer a top four; it's a top six.
No, in between that and Champions League,
yeah, it's definitely a top six of clubs. So,
yeah,
I mean, the last 2 years, Manchester United was the ones vying for Europa League champions,
and they won last year.
And now Arsenal, they
could win this year,
yeah. So you could definitely see that being a reoccurring theme. Could be Burnley next year.
Oh, I can only hope.
Atletico
Madrid. Playing away at
Burnley.
Turf Mall.
Be amazing.
Dave Fishwick's stand.
Dave Fishwick's stand. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't think that's it. Wenger out, but it's what was
excited for the future, but
it does feel like
sad to see him leave.
He made it. But he made a choice. It feels like we may find out the truth. Maybe never know the truth. It felt like a choice he made. And if Arsenal's board, as Ron said, is a bit indecisive, and it seems they have been, Aubameyang's a good, that whole thing of why didn't you get him then to now with more money? But he forced them to go ahead and make a choice. If he did make this choice right here, then he forced them to do something, which I don't think they were going to do otherwise.
And they have the summer to do that. They also have a World Cup, so maybe a manager from the World Cup stands out. Who knows? I mean, yeah, so they got a little bit of time here, but that time goes real quick because those games start coming in September or August, right? Tail end of August when the Premier League starts. So
right? Yeah. No.
Those games come quick. So they were on trying to find a new coach last Friday.
As I quoted Star Wars, Darth Vader, it will be a day long remembered. It has seen the end of Arsene Wenger. Yep. And then I'll quote the last Star Wars movie that came out, Last Jedi. When Rey says about Luke, I felt him go, but it wasn't sad. It was with purpose. You like that, right? That was good.
Wow, that's deep.
There you go, man.
That's deep.
I think Arsene made a purposeful choice.
Did they now?
Yeah. We might find ourselves saying, in Arsene we trust, the way he pulled this off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when you guys are sitting in the 17th spot in the next year, you'll be like, oh, where is Arsene Wenger?
13th or 12th. We'll be fine. Comfortably just above Everton.
Comfortably, of course.
Yeah, comfortably. 5 points easily. All right, my friend. This is a good one.
Good one, odd one, different one, but
yeah, different one,
always
odd one.
Fun.
For our Wenger Out, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. Go to our website, brewtifulgame.com, to listen to us. Leave us a review on Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, whatever, however you find us. Is that it? What are you pointing at? Oh, you can listen to us on
my scarf. My scarf. I'm on my mic boom.
From everything. You can do us on All In Sports. Go to Twitter. Go to @AllInSports. All In Sports Talk. We are part of the network there, where you can listen to us and several other great soccer shows to discover. In fact, I think while we were recording this, our previous episode was being played live on air, or live on being played. You know what I mean? Recorded in front of a live studio audience. There's like 100 people in this room. You just can't hear them. Follow us.
We have a
Tapped.
baby monitor. That's our audience. Yeah.
A baby monitor. And follow us on Untapped. More people are doing it. Pints for Parkinson. I think they just started following us on there. Yeah. Which, speaking of that, the Pints for Parkinson event at World of Beer and Dr. Phillips in Orlando will be coming up again soon. So we'll try to get involved with that
July,
again.
Right?
Yeah, for raising money. And we'll keep you posted on all those happenings. The easiest thing is just go to the website, brewtifulgame.com. You'll find everything you need to know, including our sweet T-shirts for sale. What if you leave reviews? We can send you magnets and
koozies left.
No, I got a couple magnets.
Sweet.
Couple of magnets. And for our last reviewer, again, thank you. It's coming to you. I realized Ron was kind of heading that up, and he's out of the country. So he had been doing those. So you'll get your stuff. You'll get your stuff out to you if I have to do it. Ron's just the organized one. We're just going to be honest with the group.
Also, you mentioned that first place in the fantasy league.
Oh yeah,
Kim, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure you're going to win.
Yeah. Hey, there's still a few weeks left.
There's still.
Yeah.
But send us your stuff in ahead, or wave your the superstitious type.
Yeah, and as they're taking orders, I don't know if we saw these online, but there's sweet Providence FC.
Oh yeah,
jerseys that we saw with their sponsor from Revival Brewing.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I may have to buy a couple of those. Those look pretty sweet.
They just say they were going to send us one.
We were kind of chatting back and forth about stuff, but like,
we'll pay for it.
Yeah.
I want one too.
Yeah,
you get one, I get one. And,
the whole crew.
And Ron's in.
He's in somewhere.
Beijing, China, Japan, Osaka,
Singapore,
wherever he's at.
Yeah. He says Singapore next, right? Yeah, Singapore, then California, then Orlando on May 18th. All right.
We'll stay here in Orlando.
We'll have to eat the pies and drink some beers without him.
Fools. Yeah.
I think it covers us. Yeah. That's everything, man. Hey, in Wenger we trust. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game. Cheers. Salut, Wenger. He's the reason I became an Arsenal fan. The Invincibles.
#Wenger Out.